Big Al says, Gary, the tribunal guideline states where a player pushes an opponent into an umpire, the penalty will be a fixed financial sanction. Well, why has it gone straight to the tribunal, Big Al, if it's as simple as that? Answer me that. I would genuinely like to know.
Well, if you're citing tribunal guidelines, you're not reading it, are you? It's obviously there somewhere.
It's just a guideline. It's just a guide.
It is.
So this has gone straight to the tribunal, Big Al. So we'll see. What do you think will happen?
I can't see him going.
What do you mean you didn't think he knew where the umpire was?
I don't reckon that he knew that he was pushing that player into the umpire.
The umpire's right. He's in fluoro green, sitting right in front of him.
On the other side of his direct opponent. I
reckon saw him.
Hipwood's watching the ball. He's watching the ball, watching where he's running. I don't think that he would have had any awareness of where the umpire was, and I don't think it was deliberate that he pushed him in. If I thought it was deliberate that he pushed him in, or if we think that is the case, well, then he probably has something to answer.
Yeah. When it first happened on Friday night, I thought he was gone, and I was pretty strong in my condemnation. I thought it was, akin to umpire contact for him.
Right.
Now, there's another angle I looked at. Someone had it yesterday at some stage, and you could argue that the Bulldogs player might have changed course a bit, which all contributed to the fact that he may not have been deliberately pushing him in. My point is this. When you do that and there's an umpire in the vicinity, there are consequences, and you need to be aware of them. You may get away with a fine, but if you got a week, wouldn't worry me.
Yeah, I just think that sometimes stuff happens. I mean, we'd like to legislate for everything, but I think there are things that happen in the game because there's 36 bodies running around plus the 3 field umpires, and the boundary umpires spend some time sort of out there as well in centre bounces, etc. So I just think that's going to happen periodically. I just think it's one of those things.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Worth looking at, worth clarifying, but one of those things.
But when you say there's 36, I don't want to be argumentative, but I will be. When you say there's 36 players on the ground, there's only 3 involved there. They had a good patch of dirt to themselves, just the 3 of them.
But the things that we ask the modern player to consider when they're going into contests, to watch the play and to focus on what they're doing, and that we have to consider where the umpires are at all times as well. I mean, this is not. No,
that's exactly what we asked them to do, to consider where the umpires are at all times. Yes, that's.
Well, I understand that, but the focus is always like. I mean, we've played the game, but not everyone has played at the highest level. But if you've played a game of footy, it's really hard to take your focus off exactly where the play is because that's where you're watching. So whether it's 5 metres away or 50 metres away from you, invariably you're watching what's happening at the contest so that you can make decisions on where you position yourself or how to attack the contest. Often that is at the absence of you've got some spatial awareness of the bodies around you, but to say, that's my direct opponent, that's a teammate, that's an umpire, sometimes that can be difficult to do.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, but not in that instance. There's only him, a bloke in bright green, and his opponent in white.
So there's no possibility that you reckon that the umpire was 100, like directly the opposite side of his direct opponent?
No.
All right. Maybe I have to have a look at it a bit closer, because I just can't see it.
I will too. I'll have another look at it as well, just to make sure. So there's nothing like a contentious tribunal or a potential tribunal or an umpiring decision to fire up. It's 50-50 split down the middle. Gary, you're grabbing onto something that isn't there, fine. It's just worth a fine. You can't seriously think that act is worth anything for pushing someone. And Bucks, you've had another look at it?
This is a pull your socks up as well, Clint from Druin. I once took a hanger on an umpire playing for Druin because he was in prime position. I got 2 weeks.
That's probably with it. You've had a look at the new angle. What did you think?
Well, I've gone. There's a little bit to look at there because I reckon where Hipwood was running, he would have known that the umpire was there.
Yes, thank you.
But at the same time, How do you say that he intended to push him into the umpire? It's nearly impossible to do that. But I actually think the behind the goals vision is a little more asks a bit more of a question than I thought was there. But I still think it's worth sending to the tribunal. It's worth addressing. It's worth highlighting that issue. But I don't think he should. I think he should be let off with a warning.
That's right. Okay.